Hi guys, so today I'm going to be filming this unusual and kind of different video from what you're used to seeing, and that's going to be a comparison video between the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge and the Beauty Blender. So as you guys already know, I have been using the Miracle Complexion Sponge for quite a long time now, and it is something that I use regularly in my everyday makeup, and I really enjoy using it. I think it's quite easy and fast for blending out your makeup and your concealer and your foundation and just everything, and it blends nicely together. But I have also recently purchased the Beauty Blender just because I wanted to see what that kind of had to offer and whether it was any better. I was just intrigued and I wanted to see exactly what was so good about this one and compare it to my other one. So today I'm going to film exactly what I think of both of them. I'm going to do one side of my face with one of the sponges and the other with the other one. So as always, I am going to prime my skin, and I'm going to be doing that with the Benefit Professional as always. I have actually already cleansed, toned and exfoliated and moisturised my skin, so my skin's feeling nice and soft and lovely, ready for applying my makeup. So I've just primed my skin, so now I'm going to go in and colour correct as always, and the palette that I'm using for that today is the Morphe 20 Con palette, and I'm going to just colour correct under my eyes, these few nasties here, and just around my nose, mainly the areas where I get redness or darker. Now for the blending. So this side of my face I'm going to blend with the Miracle Complexion Sponge, and the other side of my face I'm going to blend with the Beauty Blender. So I am going in with the pointy side just because that kind of gets in deeper and to all the bits that the other side wouldn't really reach. I'm just going to go ahead and blend the other side with my Beauty Blender. And again, I am using the pointy side to do this just so that I can get right into the corners. So far I'm kind of noticing that the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge has soaked up more of the colour than the Beauty Blender has. You can see just here where I do have my few nasties, the colour has gone completely, so it's not done a particularly good job there. So I'm going to go over that again and try and blend it out with the Beauty Blender instead. So I don't know if you guys can see on camera, but it has definitely left more colour on my face and concealed those nasties a little bit more. So I am going in today with my NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation, and this is in Light 1, which is Siberia. And I'm first of all going to go in on this side of my face with my Real Techniques sponge. So I'm going to just do one pump of that just onto the sponge there, and start to blend that out on my face. So I'm going to go in with another pump of that because I don't feel the coverage is full enough, so I'm just going to go in with that other pump and go around my face again. So far the coverage is looking quite good. It's not soaked up a lot of the colour, it looks quite seamless, and you can still see my skin through the foundation, which is something that I do like. So now I'm going to go in on the other side of my face with the Beauty Blender and see how that compared. So again, I'm going to take one pump from the foundation on the Beauty Blender, on the butt end of it, and I'm going to just blend that around on my face. then I'm going to go in with a second pump just to kind of make everything fair so we can see exactly the difference between one and the other side. Now if we just compare those two sides of my face, and I have zoomed in so you guys can see a little bit better. So this is the side I've done with the Real Techniques sponge, and it is quite nice. It still kind of applies that same amount of coverage as usual, the kind of coverage that I like, which is a good thing. And this is the side with the Beauty Blender. So I do find this side is kind of got more of a coverage to it, but the only thing I have noticed is I do have drier skin, and I tend to get drier patches around my nose here. The Beauty Blender on this side has kind of left it more kind of obvious about like my dry skin, so you can see the more flaky areas of my skin, whereas the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge hasn't clung quite as much to those dry flakes, and it does look a little bit better around my nose. So last but not least is my concealer, and I apply my concealer under my eyes and then on just kind of the bridge of my nose and just downwards, just to kind of brighten up these areas that bit more. So I am using the same Morphe 20 Con palette, so I'm just going to conceal under my eyes and then blend all of that out with the two different sponges. This side first with the sponge by Real Techniques, and I'm going to be using again the pointed end just to get in further into like my eye, so it's not like going to miss any bits and cause creasing later on. I'm just going to blend out the other side with my Beauty Blender, and again I'm going to go in with the pointed end to get further into my kind of eye area, so again it stops any creasing. And I'm just going to go in and blend down my nose with my Real Techniques sponge as well. So here's the difference between one sponge and the other. This is the side that I did with my Real Techniques one, and this is the Beauty Blender. As you can probably see, or hopefully as you can see, one side is more drier looking than the other side. So if you can actually see on camera, this side does actually look more drier than the other side, and I think that's again because the Beauty Blender has kind of clung to the dry patches in my skin, causing them to look more obvious than they do with the Real Techniques sponge, which is kind of annoying because I don't like my dry skin to show through my foundation because it can look a bit claggy, it can look cakey, and I don't like that in the foundation or concealer. So far I'm really loving the Real Techniques sponge in comparison to the Beauty Blender. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply the rest of my makeup, and I'll come back to you at the end of applying all my makeup, and we'll have a further discussion about why one's better than the other, or which one's better, you know what I mean. So I've applied all the rest of my makeup, and if you guys are interested in this look, it will be up, so I'll leave a link to it so you can see exactly what I did to create this kind of eye look. So personally, I think I prefer the Real Techniques sponge, and that's just because it doesn't leave as much dry patches on my skin, which is the only thing that does bother me with foundations and the way that I apply them. It's just I don't like seeing my dry skin, and that for me is a big issue. So other than that though, I think the Beauty Blender was pretty good. It did blend everything out, it did kind of leave a full coverage effect, more of a full coverage than the other sponge did, but still it did cling to those like dry patches in my skin, and I just didn't like that, so it kind of didn't work for me for that. I would still say that both of these sponges are pretty good sponges, and I would definitely continue to use my beauty blender, even though it does sometimes leave me with dry patches on my skin like it has today. But as for money wise, the Real Techniques one is definitely the one that is the better value for money, because I think it retails for about £5 in Boots, and the beauty blender, I bought this for about £15 from b3zb0beauty.com. So that is pretty pricey, and if you're not wanting to spend a lot of money, I would definitely steer clear from the beauty blenders because they are expensive, and if you're new to the whole sponge thing, you're definitely better off with the kind of more affordable alternative. So before I filmed this video, I have actually been using both these sponges for a while. I've actually been using the Real Techniques sponge longer than I have with the beauty blender sponge, but I thought I may as well try them both out for a kind of a longer period of time than just using them both today, because I wanted to get a feel for both of them myself. So obviously in that kind of period, I obviously had to wash my sponges, and I obviously washed them just with soap and water. I found that the beauty blender was actually easier to clean. It didn't take quite as long to get all that product out that had built up over the over the couple of weeks I've been using it. I don't know why I said years. And this one I found was quite hard to clean. It took me a little bit longer, and I still found that it left a little bit of product still kind of stained on the actual sponge. I'm not quite sure why that is, because you would have thought with this sponge being like a black that you would have seen the product easier, but actually it's not quite as easily noticeable as it is on the Real Techniques sponge. And I'm not sure why that is. Again, it could just be down to the material, but still I do think both these sponges are both amazing sponges and brilliant for blending out your makeup and getting everything looking seamless. So if you are obviously interested in buying a sponge, I would definitely recommend the Real Techniques sponge, and it is easier for us people in the UK to get hold of because it's in Boots, whereas this one is a little bit more expensive, and you can still grab hold of it on like Beauty Bay and other websites like that, but it is obviously, it's a lot more money than the Real Techniques one is. And if you are new to it, I do recommend like sticking to something that's a bit more affordable, just so you can get a feel for how you obviously want to apply your makeup, because everyone applies makeup in different ways. Some people use a brush, some people use their hands, and some people use sponges, and that's entirely up to you, and it's finding what's right for you and your skin. So I'm not saying that you have to use one of these sponges. You can completely just ignore everything I've just said, and you can stick to whatever technique you're using, but obviously I thought it would be beneficial for you guys so you could see exactly which sponge is better and why I thought so. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave some comments below letting me know what you thought or anything you'd like to see in the future. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I'll leave all my social media links down below, and where I actually purchased both of these products in the description bar down below. So I'll see you next time. Until next time, guys.